Hey all, I wanted to record this video real quick. It is late. It is probably after midnight and I just got off not that long ago, which is why I'm recording now. Cause you gotta do what you gotta do around life. But in this video, I wanted to talk about, I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my phone. I have notes on my phone. I want to talk about some of the reasons that I went no contact with family in the first place. Like I've talked about, should you, is it for you? I'm starting to cover some of the benefits thereof. But a lot of times in, a lot of the online spaces that I use, like, as various support groups and different things, people will come into the group and wonder, like, is their situation bad enough for them to be here? Like, oh well, my parents, maybe they weren't into addiction, or they weren't they weren't like abusive, yeah, in any kind of like we'll say like noticeable way, we'll put it like that. There were no marks, or there was no this or anything like that, but you still feel like you were neglected emotionally, there were needs that weren't met, um people didn't show up for you, they didn't defend you like they should have, all those kind of things, and you wonder, like, do I really have a spot here? Should I really be here? Yeah, you should. um but anyway, I want to talk about some of the reasons that I personally went no contact with family. So one of the things, or one of the major reasons, is that I realized no matter what I did, no matter what I said, how I said it, how nicely I said it, how many times I showed up, how many times I defended these people, whatever it was, I finally had to realize that no matter what I did, nothing was going to change. Like, nothing. There was nothing I could say. There was nothing I could do. There was no words, because it's not a me problem to fix. And when I say this stuff, I'm not making it like I'm a perfect person. I've never screwed up. I've never done anything wrong. But in this particular context, you can only show up for people so much before you realize that they are just not interested in showing up for you. And then you have a decision to make at that point. And so I realized that no matter how I explained a thing, no matter how I poured my heart out, no matter what I sacrificed, any of that, nothing ever changed. It never changed. And at what point do you just realize that what you're doing is like a futile effort at that point? Like, at what point do you accept that these people just don't mess with you? They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to try to have a relationship with you. And as painful as it sounds, it's kind of liberating in a sense, because you realize, well, okay, I don't have to keep working at this anymore. I can focus my energy on other stuff. So that was one of the reasons that I went no contact, was because I just simply realized that no matter what I suggested, therapy, church, prayer, Saturday lunches, giving up this and that, this and that, this and that, it just didn't matter. You cannot fill up a cup that has you can't fill up a bottomless cup. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't do it. Can't do it. Doesn't matter how much you put in it. If the cup is defective somehow, it's gonna leak fluid, and it doesn't matter what you do. It is what it is. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason I went no contact, especially with my parent, was because of um they contributed a lot to like my negative self-image. Like, you can only be told that you're ugly or fat or this or that so much before you either start to believe it, or it starts to affect you somehow, whatever that looks like. And quite honestly, who wants to be around anybody who's telling them all these unwarranted negative things about themselves. Like, who wants that? Like, who wants that? And so that was a big thing for me. And it started as a very, very, very young, like young girl. And it took me being into my 30s to start to overcome some of like the self-worth and like negative self-image and like poor self-esteem issues that I had. It took a long time. And what really helped me with that was going no contact. And I'll take it back to that cup reference again. If you have, so okay, I had a cup and it was full of a bunch of negative stuff, and it was constantly being poured into negativity, 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 negativity. And it was this big cup full of just like negativity. And so once I went no contact, now the cup stops being filled with negativity and it's being filled up with like freshness, with positive thoughts, with positive self-image, with me reading and reconstructing and journaling and having really deep conversations and talking to therapists and all that kind of stuff. It took me a really, really long time, but now that cup, the negativity in that cup is so diluted down that it doesn't even like, those thoughts don't even cross your mind anymore. They don't cross my mind anymore. And I'll say this, like, if you grow up in a toxic household, you're the person who's messing with you the most. They've talked so much trash about you and said it so many times that after a while, you start to say it about yourself. You're literally just doing the job for them at that point. By reinforcing, well, I'm no good and I'm fat and I'm ugly and nobody's ever going to do this. And whatever it is that somebody's been telling you that's not true. Now I'm at a point in my life where those thoughts don't even crop up. Like, I don't look in the mirror and think I'm ugly. I don't think I'm ugly at all. I just don't. Like, I'll also say this. It's been since I've gone no contact. That was the last time anybody has ever talked disparagingly about my appearance. And it's been a little over 7 years now. And so it took me having to go no contact and get away from that negativity and have it stop being poured in so that I could have some other stuff be poured in and replace it. And now, like, those thoughts rarely cross my mind anymore because there's nobody in my life that says that stuff to me ever. So there's another couple things I want to talk about real quick. I also got tired of being in like a one-way street type of relationship where I was the one giving, and then when it came time for me to receive on the back end, no one showed up. No one cared. Everybody came up with a bunch of excuses about why this couldn't occur. My car's broke down, my work schedule, my this, I just don't want to, da 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 da. But when it was me, I showed up. I was there. I cared. And I'm not saying any of this that like, yeah, I'm just the best person in the world. These are just facts. When it was time to show up, I showed up. When it was time for them to show up, they did not. And you get tired of that. I can understand, one-off certain situations, but we're talking about like decades worth of stuff at this point. Again, at what point do you just call it good? So that was another reason that I went no contact. I really got tired of the one-sided street kind of relationships where I was literally laying down everything in my life, time, money, energy, space, resources, health, all kinds of stuff, and can't even get a hello, how you doing in return when it's my turn. So that's one reason, or probably the third reason. And then the fourth reason, and then I'm probably going to wrap it up after this because I am tired. If y'all can't tell, I am tired. But the last reason, or one of the major reasons that propelled me to go no contact, was like, by definition, I am like the family scapegoat. Like, whatever ruination befalls the family, somehow I'm tied to. It's my fault. I didn't have to be there. It didn't event didn't have to do anything with me. I didn't have to know any other people, and it's still somehow my fault. And there is not enough wrong in the world that all of it could be my fault, or even most of it, half of it, a quarter of it be my fault. And you get tired of being one group's whipping boy. You get tired of being one group's sacrificial lamb for their poor emotional regulation. And finally, like I've said all over the place on this channel, you finally decide to show up and choose you. You're just like, you know what? I wouldn't let a stranger in the street treat me like this. Excuse me, why should I let my cousin? Why should I let my brother? Why should I let my mom? Why should I let my grandma, or whoever it is, my sister-in-law, whoever it is? Who cares? They don't get to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get to bear the sins of an entire family. That's not a mantle to be placed on anybody's shoulders. I don't care. It's not right. So those were kind of like four of the major reasons that I called or found myself going no contact. I'm sure there's like some other things that I'm, like I'll, content for another video. I'll save it. It's got some stuff to put on my video list. But again, those were some of the major reasons that I went no contact. Again, everyone goes no contact for totally different reasons. Some people, whatever it was that you grew up with, if you know that your life would be made healthier, that your mental health and stability would be made better by expending certain people, then that's what you do. That's what you do. You don't owe anybody a relationship. You do owe yourself your faculty of mind so that you can function and do what you need to do. So that's it. I just wanted to go over those couple of things. Just the reasons I went no contact. Please feel free to share in the comments why you went no contact or are thinking of going no contact. It's different for everybody and it's valid for everybody. I get it. So please share your experiences. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Please share with anyone who you feel could use or benefit from this kind of content. I'm going to bed. I'll catch y'all soon.